Alright, so this one here is just a little overview of the stuff we're going to be covering this topic. You don't really need to view this video again. This is just the intro to what we're doing. Alright, so basically, the topic we're doing is production and identification of materials. It's got 4 real main focus areas, but it's split into about 6 or so. First is carbon chemistry. Now, it focuses very heavily on petroleum as a fuel source, and this is essentially a continuation from what we did earlier on in the preliminary topic. Now, here we move on from petroleum as a source of fuel to a source of plastics, which leads us into, well, actually, we start off with focusing on ethylene or ethene. Ethene is the IUPAC name for it. Ethylene is the common name for ethene. And basically, we're going to talk about its use for polymers, which is plastics. Okay, so this is where we talk about where the petrochemicals come from and how we use them beyond the very simple just burning it in plastics. And that will then lead into biopolymers such as cellulose and so forth. Okay, now then we're going to talk about alcohols, which will be a good idea for an alternative fuel. And we see over here, this is your standard alcohol here, the OH unit. This moves, basically move our focus on carbon chemistry to the alkanol functional group. These are commonly known as alcohols, and these, as we said earlier, the potential replacement for petrol. The most important one is ethanol. It's not the simplest. Methanol is the simplest, meth being 1, ethanol being 2 carbons, and that's what it looks like right there. Now we move on to something that's fairly different, electrochemistry. So basically, we're looking at oxidation, reduction, or redox, reduction, oxidation reactions. So we're talking about how the electrons move from one end to the other. This seems like a big leap, a very different focus from the first two, and it is. So here we're talking about reduction and oxidation. And basically, its uses in cells and batteries. So that there you get to see where we talk about production of materials again. And finally, we really finish off with radioactivity, which again seems like something different, but we focus on the atomic nucleus, in particular with stability and decay. So carbon-14 becomes a big focus area, as do the transuranic elements, which we'll get into later, and how we use radioisotopes and where we get them from. All right, so that's this topic, and yeah, let's enjoy it. Let's get into it.